You are not overthinking because you are weak. You are overthinking because your mind learned that silence was unsafe. And now, every quiet moment becomes a courtroom. Every decision becomes evidence. Every message you send becomes a case file. Every pause in someone else's voice becomes a warning. This is not intelligence. This is not preparation. This is a loop. And loops do not feel like loops from the inside. They feel like truth. That is why you keep believing the next thought will save you. But it never does. It only builds another wall.
Overthinking is not just thinking too much. It is thinking without resolution. A mental machine that keeps producing explanations but never produces peace. And the cost is quiet. You lose sleep, you lose presence, you lose trust in your own perception. You read meaning into silence. You rehearse conversations that never happen. You punish yourself for things nobody else remembers. And slowly, your mind becomes the place you are trying to escape. This video is about how that prison was built. Why your thoughts learned to repeat. And the only way out that does not require fighting your own mind. In psychology, there is a word for mental repetition that cannot close itself. Rumination. It means the mind keeps returning to the same thought, not to solve it, but because the nervous system still feels unfinished. The word was studied deeply by psychologist Susan Nolan Hoeksema in the late 20th century. She found that repetitive negative thinking can intensify emotional distress because the mind mistakes repetition for processing. That distinction matters. Processing moves, rumination circles. Processing creates clarity, rumination creates fog. Processing ends with a next step. Rumination ends with the same question, wearing a new mask. If this already feels uncomfortably familiar, stay with it. Because what comes next is where the loop reveals its original purpose. Your mind did not build this prison to destroy you. It built it to protect you. The overthinking loop begins when your brain learns that prediction equals safety. If you can predict pain, maybe you can avoid it. If you can predict rejection, maybe you can prevent it. If you can predict failure, maybe you can control the fall. This is why overthinking often grows in people who had to read the room too early. Children who monitored moods, adults who lived around unpredictability, people who learned that one wrong word could change the temperature of the entire room. The brain adapts. The amygdala scans for threat. The prefrontal cortex tries to explain the threat. The body tightens before the mind understands why. Then the mind says, think harder, analyze more, find the reason. But the reason is not always in the present. Sometimes the present only resembles the past, and the body reacts to resemblance, not reality. That is the first lock on the prison door.
Here is the turn most people miss. Overthinking is not a thought problem first. It is a safety problem first. The mind repeats because the body does not feel safe enough to stop. That is why logic rarely works. You can tell yourself nothing is wrong. You can list the facts. You can ask for reassurance. You can receive reassurance. And still, 5 minutes later, the loop returns. Because reassurance answers the thought, but it does not always calm the system that generated the thought. This is why the loop becomes addictive. For a few seconds, analysis feels like control. Note, control is not peace. Control is tension wearing a suit. And the more you depend on thinking to feel safe, the less safe you feel when thinking stops.
The prison was built from one hidden belief. If I stop thinking, something bad will happen. Not consciously, not as a sentence you chose, as a deep nervous system assumption. This is cognitive fusion, a term from acceptance and commitment therapy. It means you become fused with a thought, so the thought no longer feels like a mental event. It feels like reality. I am not having the thought that they are upset with me. They are upset with me. I am not having the thought that I will fail. I will fail. I am not having the thought that I am unsafe. I am unsafe. That tiny difference is the cage. The way out begins when you create distance, not by suppressing the thought, not by arguing with it, but by naming it. This is a loop. This is my mind trying to protect me. This is not a command.
There is a reason many contemplative traditions trained attention before they trained belief. In early Buddhist psychology, sati is often translated as mindfulness. Not positivity, not forced calm, remembering to observe. Seeing thought as thought, seeing sensation as sensation, seeing fear as a wave, not a prophecy. Modern metacognition points in the same direction. Metacognition means awareness of your own thinking. Not what you think, but the fact that thinking is happening. That one shift changes the power dynamic. Before awareness, the thought speaks and you obey. After awareness, the thought speaks and you observe. That is not small. That is sovereignty. The mind can still produce noise, but noise is not law. A loop can still begin, but you do not have to build a home inside it. This is the exit most people never use because it feels too simple. Name the loop, return to the body, choose one next action. not 10. 1. The overthinking mind wants endless doors. Healing gives it one handle. Tonight, try this once. When the loop begins, do not ask, "Why am I like this?" Ask, "What is my mind trying to protect me from feeling?" Then, place one hand on your chest, take one slow breath, and say, "I see the loop. I do not have to obey it." Then, choose one physical action. Drink water, stand up, open the window, write one sentence, send one clear message. The body needs evidence that life continues after the thought is not obeyed. That is how the prison weakens, not through force, through repetition. If this made sense to you, like the video. Share it with someone whose mind never rests. Subscribe if this channel feels like a mirror. And in the comments, write this power phrase: "I see the loop. I choose the door." Write it slowly, because your mind needs a new command. What comes next goes even deeper. Your mind is not your prison. Unconscious repetition is.